So when was the first time that you went to Mexico? You said that you went there because your girlfriend is from there. Is that right?
Yeah, it was during. It started during the pandemic. It was a time of loneliness and isolation, and me and my one of my best friends, we said, why don't we just move in together and be like roomies? Then we have somebody to talk to and just hang out with all the time. That would be like a better way to spend this time than to just be alone in one apartment each, you know? And so we decided to do that. And because of the pandemic, a lot of the universities opened up a possibility of studying online. So you'd have it, you didn't need to be in the same classroom and stuff like that. So since both of us were studying online through just our computer, we said, like, why don't we just move in together, but in another country? Like, why don't just take advantage of the time? So we went first to Lisbon, actually, in Portugal, and then the semester after that we went to Lyon in France, and that was about 3 years ago now, and and that's where I had a lovely Mexican neighbor that I started to spend more time with, and things escalated, and I don't think it was on any of our radar to fall for somebody on the other side of the planet and make things complicated, you know. But yeah, I had one more semester of an internship I had to do at because I was studying in the travel industry. So do an internship at a travel agency or a hotel or something tourism related. And I was like, but why can't I just find a nice travel agency in Merida, Mexico, and see what happens? It's 12 weeks, and then I can give it a chance, and then if it flies, then it flies, and if it dies, then it dies. So I reached out to a place here, and they would they took me in, and that was a nice start for a nice journey here in Mexico.
You met your girlfriend living in France, so she
Yeah,
was there as well. She was there like as a resident,
as a student
as a
also.
student.
So she was doing it more the normal way of moving to abroad and doing an exchange semester or
Hmm.
however you wanna call it. But uh,
Yeah, she was moving to the country where she was studying, and you were moving
exactly,
away from the country where you were studying.
exactly, exactly.
Right. And so then, but she always wanted to go back to Mexico after she finished her studies. That was always the plan.
I don't know if there was any plan, to be honest. The plan was to go there, have an awesome time, and learn a lot. And I think she always dreamed of staying in Europe, actually. But the plan, the short term plan, was to go back to Mexico and get things sorted out before diving into life again. But um, yeah, I didn't have really that much of a plan, and neither did she. And then we just tried it out, and I fell in love with the city. I fell in love with the country, the people, and now I'm all in on Mexico.
So, but were you all in on Mexico before you went there, though? Like on that first trip, how long did you expect to stay in Mexico?
So the first trip was I came for like 1 month before I came for the 12-week period of my internship here to just okay, what am I getting into? Is it
Hmm.
gonna be Narcos the TV series, or is it gonna be a little more sweet and nice? And yeah, I had no idea because there's a lot of like stereotypes and what people think about Mexico, that it's a little dangerous and that it's yeah. So I needed to come here and scout a little bit first before taking the big life decisions, but. Uh, the I arrived at nighttime, so I remember the first when she picked me up at the bus station. I I remember thinking it was a little sketchy just because I had those thoughts in my mind programmed that Mexico can be a little dangerous. It was a little dark and I was a little on the edge. But then only that time I had any thoughts about that. Then I felt as safe as the northern little town in Sweden. It's very nice, very safe, and yeah, it's just been amazing time getting to know the country, the culture, and the city.
So Mexico kind of gets a bad rap because we do have that, like a lot of news about, oh, Mexico is dangerous. You'll get, kidnapped, or, drug trafficking, cartels, things like that. But that hasn't been your experience there at all.
No, I mean, there's some truth to all of that. And it is a very corrupt country, as I've learned. But Mexico is a huge place, so it's better at some places and worse at some places. And Merida happens to be one of the safest, not only in Mexico but also in the world. I read recently that there's this magazine, I think it's called CEO something, that ranks the safest cities in the world every year. And last year, Merida came at in the category of the Americas only. It's number 2. So I think it was a Canadian city actually that was number 1. If it was Quebec, or I don't know, maybe that's terribly wrong, but it was a Canadian city that was number 1, Merida number 2, and then yeah, that's a pretty good indicator of that it is safe when you have the
Sure.
stats on your side, also, not just the feelings,
Absolutely. And I think that, like, internationally, a lot of times people don't really have a full idea or a full complete image of what a country is actually like. Like, we don't have a lot of nuance when we look internationally. We just want to know, is Mexico dangerous? Is it safe? And those are the only 2 options.
Yeah, we want a
And
black and white
yeah,
answer.
but
Yeah.
but like, no country is that black and white. You always have some nuance there, and it depends where you are and what city you're in and who you are as well, right? Like what kind of stuff
Exactly.
you're doing as an individual.
Yeah.
And I noticed that too. I went to Colombia. That's where I've spent the most time out of Canada. I was there for 9 months. And, Colombia has the same reputation as Mexico, if not even a little bit worse, right? Because of all the Pablo Escobar stuff, right? And so people were like, oh, Colombia, you got to be careful there. And my experience was very much like what you're describing. It was chill. It wasn't that bad. Yeah, you got to be a little bit more aware than you do here, but like, it also depends where you are. And I did the same thing that you did, where this was just more recently, actually, just this week. I was like, everyone gives these South American cities such a bad rap. They're so dangerous, and you wouldn't want to go there. It's safer to stay in Canada or the U.S. And so I looked up those stats as well. And okay, what country, what city is more dangerous than this city? And there's kind of some comparisons, and I looked at Bogota, which for me, being in Colombia, Bogota felt the most kind of dangerous out of all of
A
them.
little
So,
darker.
and it's the biggest city as well, population wise. So you go, okay, let's take that one and compare it to other cities. And it's like way below so many American cities. Like, it's below, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, a city in the Midwest in the US, like seemingly pretty chill, pretty comfortable. But the homicide rate per 100,000 people was actually higher in Milwaukee than it was in Bogota. And I'm going, yeah, the numbers don't line up with the stereotypes that we have for these places. Like, it's really not fair. Now, can you find dangerous places in Mexico? Can you find dangerous places in Colombia? Of course you can. But for the average person, you're also just not going to be exposed to that if you have a little bit of common sense. So yeah, it's interesting. It's always different when you're there, right?
Yeah, and I like the way you said it. It also depends on who you are as a person also.
Sure.
Because usually, of course, there's some zones that are more dangerous than others. Maybe a street that is more dangerous than others. But as a general rule, if you are a nice, good person and treat others with respect, and then they will treat you the same.